Rhythm is fundamental to our physical and psychological well-being. A friend of mine and I were chatting recently, and he was sharing with me a health concern that he had. He was having heart palpitations, and this guy's a healthy 40-year-old, but his heart was out of rhythm. And obviously having a wife and a bunch of small kids, it was extremely concerning to him. And just like my friend was concerned about a physical lack of rhythm as far as his heart was concerned, so too many senior construction executives are concerned by a lack of rhythm in their weekly workflow. They're never able to get into a consistent rhythm so they can perform at their highest possible level. And they need help in terms of getting into that rhythm on a consistent basis. And that's what this podcast episode is all about. We're going to talk about three things. First one is value your hours. Second thing is theme your week. And the third is fill your day. And if you value your hours, theme your week, and fill your day correctly, it'll help you to get into a rhythm on a consistent basis and perform at a higher level.
This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership.
So the first thing we're going to talk about very simply is value your hours. How much is your time worth? It's very easy for you to figure that out. All you have to do is add up your salary, your bonuses, your benefits, and total that out for a year and divide it by the number of hours that you work approximately, and you'll get your hourly rate. Based on that hourly rate, you should then think about how you're spending your time. Are the tasks that you're involved in falling below your hourly rate, or do they fit in with your hourly rate? Let me give you a very simple example. Right now, I am recording my podcast. This fits in with my hourly rate in terms of the value of my time. But immediately following recording the podcast, I am then going to send out the recording to my team, who will then edit up the podcast, post it on the internet, all that good stuff. That portion of producing my podcast falls outside of the value of my time. It falls below that hourly rate. So everything that falls below my hourly rate, I delegate to other people. And if I keep focused on only performing tasks that fall within my hourly rate, then I can perform at the highest and best level possible for me and keep in a rhythm on a weekly basis. How about you? How much time are you spending doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing? You need to learn to say no to yourself and delegate out everything else that doesn't fall within the value of your time on an hourly basis. I was chatting with one of my clients about this, and he figured out that his hourly rate was approximately $800 an hour. And that was a real eye-opener for him, because then he could look at his tasks that he was doing every single day and ask himself, is this an $800 an hour task? And if the answer was no, then he could happily delegate it out to somebody else. But you got to discipline yourself if you're going to be able to do that. Second thing you want to do is theme your week. And this is a really neat little insight here. Think about your role and responsibility. Are you crystal clear on what your role and responsibility is as the CEO of the company? It's very easy for you to get distracted on tasks and projects that aren't really directly within your role and responsibility. And it's important for you to understand that, so then you can theme your week according to your role and responsibility. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Perhaps one day you could dedicate to internal relationships, because you understand as the CEO that one of your roles and responsibilities is to lead the leadership team and to develop talent within your organization. So you could have a day for internal relationships. You could then theme another day for external relationships, relationships related to business development, community involvement, industry involvement, or perhaps banking, surety, and insurance. And so you have one day for inside relationships, another day for external relationships. Perhaps you theme another day for operations. If you think about your operations and how the inner workings of your business goes, you've got to capture work, you've got to construct work, And then you've got to collect the money for the work that you've captured and constructed. And you could spend one day every week simply looking at the operations of your business and taking care of that side of your responsibility. Then after you've done your operations, the next day that you might set aside time to and theme is for long-term planning, perhaps for strategy or succession or acquisition. I find a lot of construction companies right now particularly are struggling with their succession planning simply because they haven't given enough time or effort to it. And as the CEO of your construction company, even if you're planning on being around for another 15 or 20 years, and the generation of leadership and senior roles is going to be there for a while, succession planning should be at the top of your list of thinking and acting on every single day. Think of yourself like a general manager of a sports franchise, and you're always looking to upgrade your talent with the right people in the right seats. And this is one of your fundamental responsibilities, and it never ends. You're always looking to get that talent up to the highest possible level in your organization. Okay, so you've got a day for internal relationships and external relationships. You've got a day for operations. You've got a day for long-term planning. That leaves one more day of the work week if you're working 5 days a week. How about you make that a free day? Do you have any days on your calendar? And I'm talking specifically to you as the CEO. If you've been in that seat long enough, you should have developed your people to the point where you can actually carve out an entire day where you're doing nothing in terms of taking appointments so that you can think and reflect and perhaps take care of new initiatives or new projects. In other words, do whatever you like with that free day. For me, my free day is Mondays. I don't take appointments on Mondays. On Mondays, I do things like work on producing my PowerPoints and the materials that I use to benefit my clients. It's really a day to spend working on my business. And I want to encourage you as the CEO of your company to develop those free days where you have massive blocks of time to do high-level thinking and high-level work. Stuff that isn't necessarily urgent right now, but is super important. All right. So once you've valued your hours and then you've themed your week, the last thing you want to do is fill your day. Now, what is your day going to be filled with? Well, it's going to be filled with one thing particularly, and that is meetings. The question is, how many meetings do you want to have on a daily basis? I was asking one of my clients this a little while ago, and he figured out that he wants to have 2 meetings a day. That's a good rhythm for him. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Now, you may need to have more meetings than that. And meetings are very, very important because you have to be able to bring people together who hold different jobs to cooperate in order to get a specific task done. You have to meet because all of the knowledge and experience in your company for a specific situation is not just in one person's head, but it's in a bunch of different heads, and you need to bring those minds together to solve the issue. So meetings are essential, but you don't want to schedule too many meetings because your productivity will go down as a result of that in the meetings, and they'll become much less effective. So going back to the idea of theming your days, think about how you can then, or theming your week, think about how then you can fill your days with meetings that are specifically related to the theme of the day. So perhaps one day you have those internal meetings where you're meeting with your leadership team for your one-on-ones. Next day, you have those external meetings where you're specifically taking time to visit customers. The next day, you're having those operations meetings. And perhaps one thing that you're committing to is a regular job site visit. This is fundamental. I find the best CEOs of construction companies, they never really lose touch with the field. They understand that that's where their money is made. And they make an emphasis on going out to job sites and spending time with their superintendents, their foremen, their key people in the field, those men and women who are actually making them the money. And that has a tremendous positive impact on the organization. So when was the last time you were actually in the field working with your folks. That is a great way for you to spend your time. So fill your day with those meetings. And again, you don't want to have too many meetings because you want to create space in your day. And this idea of having space in your day is essential to rhythm. If you think about some of the best music that you like to listen to, there's often created within a song or within a piece of music a great deal of space so that you can actually appreciate what the music is trying to communicate. Let me give you an example. There's my favorite YouTube channel as far as music is concerned is by a guy named Rick Beato, Beato. You should check it out. And he has a series of videos called What Makes This Song Great? And he was doing one on the U2 song, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, which is a classic song from the 1980s off of the album, The Joshua Tree. And he was making the point that one of the things that makes this song so great is the space that is created between the instruments in the production of the song. And that space helps you to enjoy the rhythm of the song and to really appreciate it a lot more. And great CEOs are very good at creating space in their schedule by not having too many meetings every day. And you need that space. Why? You need the space to do two things. First, to be able to think and to have times of stillness and times of reflection. And second, and perhaps more importantly, to embrace the chaos of the day. And by chaos, I don't mean it necessarily in a negative way, but you know what it's like in construction. You're going to come in every single day and something new is going to happen. That's probably why you love construction to a great extent, is because there's always something new happening, new opportunities, new problems, new challenges, new issues. And you want to create plenty of space in your schedule to handle those issues. And that's why you shouldn't put too many meetings into your day. Okay, so you must value your hours, you must theme your week, and then you must fill your day. And when you fill your day, make sure that you have meetings in those days, but not too many meetings, and that you create enough space for stillness and for thinking and reflection, as well as handling the chaos. Now, really what we've been talking about here today is getting into a rhythm, managing your time. And it's very easy for us to do that talking, but it's very difficult to implement on a consistent basis because it requires a tremendous amount of discipline. And I understand that, but I've laid this framework out to you as a means for you to begin to think about how your week is going and to be able to identify areas that are causing you to be out of rhythm. So for instance, if you're spending time doing stuff that falls below your hourly rate, it'll get you out of rhythm. If you're not theming your days, you'll find one week is completely consumed with internal relationships. You'll forget about business development, and all of a sudden, you'll be losing opportunities. But if you discipline yourself based on your role and responsibility, you'll be able to hit every area of your role and responsibility on a consistent basis, and that will help you to perform at the highest possible level. And so what you need to do here is get into action in practical ways. First thing you want to do is figure out that hourly rate. Second thing you want to do is clearly define your role and responsibility and then theme your days as I described earlier. And then thirdly, you want to fill your days with the number of meetings that you want. Make space for silence, make space for chaos. This is how you can get into a consistent rhythm. By the way, back to my friend. He had that arrhythmia, went to the doctor. Doctor made a couple of suggestions in terms of his exercise regime and some dietary suggestions, and his heart's feeling much better. So that's good news. What about you? Are you in the kind of rhythm that you want to be in as the senior leader of your construction company? If you're not, take some of these suggestions that you heard today on the podcast and get into immediate action. And if you need help, these are the types of conversations that I have all the time with my executive coaching clients. I work with executives in construction companies from the CEO level all the way down to senior project managers. And if you need some help with your performance, or if folks in your organization need help in terms of their performance, reach out to me. I'll put a link in the show notes where you can book a time in for 10 minutes just to talk about if or how I might be able to help you. My name is Eric Anderton. I appreciate you listening to Construction Genius today. Hope you got some good lessons. And feel free to share this episode with other construction leaders who you think would benefit from the content. Thanks for listening.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Construction Conclave. If you as a construction leader would like to develop your skills and get involved in a community of like-minded construction professionals who are focused on building healthy teams, profitable projects, and long-term successful businesses, then the Construction Conclave is for you. It's a private, invitation-only group of construction leaders that are focused on developing their leadership skills. We do training every single month online that looks at how to become a better leader in a very practical, straightforward way. We also have other events that build community and camaraderie so that you can associate with others who are interested in developing their skills as leaders. If you'd like more information and to see if you qualify for participating in the conclave, feel free to reach out to me, eric@ericanderton.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of Construction Genius. Hope you found that 1% of inspiration to help you in the next few days. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, share it with other construction leaders who you think would benefit, and thanks again for listening.